Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people. Oh, what day is it, y'all? The bed felt so good this morning. I felt like I was super glued to it. Your butterfly is running on low today, running on low. But it is what it is. I'm not going to let it do me, right? Let it do what it do, but don't let it do you, is what we love to say. So thank you guys for coming back to Daily Motivations for African American Success, where my son and I, journaling through the book Daily Motivations for African American Success, written by Dennis Kimbro, who is also the author of Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. So that is why we're here. Um, Looks like Brandon is going to join us this morning. So good morning to you all as I see you coming in here. Good morning, Big Mike. Good morning, Latasha. Good morning, Miss Brenda. As she says, good everything, everybody. Welcome back, B. How are you
Good
doing?
morning. I'm doing good. How you doing, sweetie?
Good. How you feeling this morning?
Feel good. Rested, up, got my coffee
Whew.
with my mother, with you guys. So it's a good day. How are you, babe?
I
How's
was
everything on
telling
your
you, I felt glued to that bed.
side?
It was tough, y'all. I pushed it to the end. I mean, again late last night for the recertification, and I'm feeling it this morning. It's like I was laughing at myself because I said the lotion ain't even working anymore. It's like, you need something else. I mean, I slept, but I didn't want to get up. So,
Yeah.
but you guys, all I have to do now is take the exam. That's all I have to do. I did all my catching up. Um, but I feel it this morning. I feel it. I really do. So
Well, you don't look it. I'll tell you that. You look good. You look beautiful.
look, I'm wrapped in love.
Oh
I told
man.
them yesterday about the blanket.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I have so many things that I feel like um, was this was from the heart and from the hands. So I'm thankful to have so many things in her memory. So, because this is probably 30 some years old,
It's
y'all.
gotta be. It's gotta be.
Yeah, 30 something. Y'all see it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I have hats and scarves. So and I just remember when she found out how that I had everything that she had made me, she was just like, I can't believe you kept them. Like, yes, I kept them. What am I going to do with them? So, but anyway, good everything, everybody. Brandon, I don't have anything on my end. Let's get Instagram up and going if that's what we're doing this morning.
Sounds good. And did you tell them that she's made hats for the kids and for me? Um,
Yeah,
Everybody in
I
our
didn't.
family
Yeah,
has something from her,
yeah, I
like
did.
something that's been crocheted from her. I mean, my children have little baby head hats and mittens and socks. My wife has a hat. I have at least. I wear some of her stuff just about every other week, and I forget sometimes that she made it. Sometimes I
Yeah.
forget. Like I'm thinking right now. I have little scullies that I put on my head. To make sure my head don't get toasted too hot up there, y'all. But I put those on all the time, and it comes from her. So may God bless her for how merciful she's been to so many of us. So rest in peace, Grandma. But yeah, let's get IG going, Mom, and we can go ahead and get started.
All right. Please copy. Okay, I think that should be it. Let's see.
Good to go.
All right. It should be coming your way here in just a minute. Glad to have you
Sounds
back
good.
because I don't like doing all that stuff.
You
I
what?
don't like reading everything. I don't like reading it all. I like the jiggling behind the scenes. So I don't
Mm,
I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back.
uh, I'm glad to be here, and it was a much needed rest, and I enjoyed it a little sleep in, but not a whole lot. Still had a ton of things to do, and I miss this. I will say that I miss you guys. I missed coming here. I missed the show, the process of reading together and opening things up together. So it's a pleasure to be back. For those of you that have been here for all 159 days, or the majority of them, you already know this. But if it is your first time, we are reading passages from Daily Motivations for African American Success by Dennis Kimbro. Let me make sure Instagram Live is up and running. What up, IG? What up, IG? It's good to have y'all in as you guys come into the chat as well. We are reading Daily Motivations for African American Success. This is what the book looks like. There's Dennis Kimbro right there. Please make sure you get that book. It's a high value but low cost book. And let's get right into it. So, Daily Motivations for African American Success will help you focus on the thoughts, attitudes, and deeds that'll lead to the achievement of your true goals. So, in 365 short but powerful motivations, one for each day of the year, Dennis Kimbro leads us to discover how to use the present moment and our own gifts to transcend labels, cultivate a positive attitude, become wise enough to know when to say yes and when to say no, and to look inward for answers to life's challenges. So each one of these motivations that we read every single day starts with words of wisdom or a quote from distinguished and celebrated African Americans as Malcolm X, Marion Wright Elderman, Whoopi Goldberg, Charlene Hunter Galt, Bill Cosby, Carl Rowan, Mother Hale, Reverend Leon Sullivan, and hundreds of others. The list goes on and on. This treasure trove of practical inspiration will give you fresh encouragement every day of the year, but what it teaches will last you a lifetime. So every day, a passage, a quote, a title, an affirmation or motivation at the end, and then a breakdown from me and Mom. So let's jump right into it. July 8th, right, Mom? Accounts
Yes.
receivable. Yeah, I got to make sure. I'm like, okay, what day we put up today?
Whatever. Y'all gonna get off of me.
I had to make sure I'm reading the
Whew.
right part. But okay, accounts receivable. Ella is actually joining us from Gaza right now. Peace be upon you, sister, and I hope your family's okay out there in Gaza. Let us know if you're okay, and send me the link for the GoFundMe, and I'll post it out there for everybody to see. But assalamu alaikum to you, and I hope your family's bought another tent, and hopefully y'all can get over to through Egypt. So hope you're doing okay. But it's today is called Accounts Receivable. Accounts Receivable, and the quote comes from Barbara Harris, the first African American female Protestant Episcopal bishop, who says, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Many people encounter troubles because they demand that life be handed to them on a silver platter. Do you feel that the world owes you a living, that life should fulfill your desires and needs? The truth of the matter is that all you could ever need has already been provided for you. There is no reason for anyone to sit back and complain that the world has deprived him of his due. As long as we acknowledge the one source behind the universe and realize that within it rests the possibility of all good things, then we understand that everything has already been given to us. Life owes you nothing, but you are eternally in debt to life. Only you can withhold yourself from life. You are only able to receive to the extent that you are able to give. And what do you have to give? For starters, you are alive, an expression of the one source. You can in turn give life to others. By your beliefs, words, and actions, you can lift the lives and spirits of those you meet. There is no limit to the number of hearts you can touch. Life has been given to you. Now it's up to you to do something with your life. Experience your good by giving a part of yourself away. And our motivation and affirmation at the end of the passage that we read 3 times, one time for me, one time for you, and one time for the person that you are inviting to the next day of the End This Season podcast on tomorrow. You're going to send them this link, and I trust that you will. But it reads, "The world owes me nothing. I am in debt to life." The world owes me nothing, but I am in debt to life. And last time, the world owes me nothing. I am in debt to life. Over to you, Mom. What do you think about that one?
Um, well, let's look at accounts receivable. Sometimes, again, you guys, it's good to go back and look at, or just read, just to refresh the picture in your mind of the words that you're hearing. Accounts receivable, right? It is what the debtors owe to, we'll say, a business, a company, right? And it asks us the question, or kind of pose the question, do you feel that the world owes you a living? And truth be told, y'all, a lot of us have either gone through this or will go through this, right? Where you feel like you're owed by the world or somebody, right? That someone owes you something for the pain that you've endured or how they've made you feel, and you become stuck. But the word tells us that it is a blessing to be a blessing. I'm going to skip down. I have a little bit more, but I'm going to skip down to the very end. Experience your good by giving a part of yourself away, a part of a whole self, right? Because sometimes we're giving for the wrong reason. We're giving to receive, right? We're giving out of um, a need, right? We're trying to feed something within us. But when you become a whole self, so I love this where it says, experience your good by giving a part of yourself away. And it's not talking about giving money and things like that. Your beliefs, your words, your actions. I was thinking about, and I'm going to post this out there, and this is nothing towards men or anything, but this kind of came in my thoughts because of a conversation I had with a man. When it comes to these young men today, you elderly men are going to have to show them the way through the life that you live. You can't talk somebody into something, right? That you ain't doing or living, right? Especially when it comes to faith, religion. They see you dipping and dabbing, dodging and rocking, right? What can you go tell them about who you serve? Where they've not seen the fruits of the Spirit in your life. I mean, not that you don't have them, right? But the best thing that you could show somebody is your actions, your beliefs, and your word based on what you believe. You can come and tell me anything, but when you walk away, I'm looking at your everything, your actions, your beliefs, your words. So nobody owes us nothing. And when you take on the mindset of I owe the world the best version of myself that they see through my beliefs, words, and action. The back of the book, I'm going to try to read it again here. If there's any power that can reverse the fortunes of race, it is character. Character, writes Dennis Kimbro. Every thought which enters our mind, every word we utter, every deed we perform makes its impression on our innermost fiber, on the innermost fiber of our being, of our being. How are you? How do you do life? What are you expecting? Why do people owe you? Why do you think people owe you? Because nobody owes you anything. It tells us that we came with it. We came with everything that we need. You are only able to receive to the extent that you are able to give, right?
Mom,
So
I have something
you
to share with
can't
you.
give. Okay, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's
You,
something
you
crazy just happened.
you can't give, right? It says you are only able to receive to the extent that you are able to give. You can't give of yourself if you've not become yourself. If you're still fighting yourself. If you're fighting yourself, you're fighting others, right? If you're fighting me, you're fighting you. So you can't give of yourself. There are people are trying to pour into, and they're so Debbie Downers. They've bought into, and they look upon what they cannot do, what they do not have, rather than what you are trying to give them. So over to you, Brandon.
Thank you, Mom. I was kind of in and out over here because so on the Instagram live, Raina's mama, whose name is Kayla, popped in and said good morning. And I said, good up. I said, good morning. What's up? What up, Dustin and Kayla? Because another guy named Dustin had came in on the show. I said, what up, Dustin and Kayla? And so that's Raina's mom, right? And I thought about my cousin, Kayla,
Kayla,
from, yeah, I
Kayla,
thought about her when I wrote Kayla's name, thinking about my friend. And then guess who popped in the show? I'm less than a second later. My little
Kayla.
cousin. Yeah. I said,
Hey,
is that my baby cousin? She said, yes. I said, man, I
look,
just thought
Kayla.
about you. You
You
know?
know what this is, Kayla, right?
Yeah, she can probably tell by the
Yeah,
stitching. That's
look,
that's
cute. Cause
grandma's
I'm so
crochet.
proud of
But
her.
I,
Oh,
I just think that's crazy that I literally said, what up, Dustin and Kayla? And then I thought about my baby cousin. And I was like, I wonder how she's doing today. And she popped in on the show.
hmm.
That is crazy. I love you, cuz I know I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with you, when you were growing up, because by that time I had moved away from Florida. But girl, I love you. I love me some you, and I love your mama.
Remember,
I
we were
love,
trying to get down there to see her play her volleyball. Y'all
man.
is we talk about these young babies, but y'all, she is doing her thing. I'm talking about straight A's, college, doing
Yeah, she's
volleyball,
incredible. She's incredible.
beautiful, and just courage. So keep on rocking, Kayla. So proud of you. So
Love
proud
you
of
so much, cuz for real. Love you so much. And I'll see you soon. Here soon. She said, "Love y'all more." So it's just God does that sometimes. He'll put when you think about people, you ought to contact them, y'all. I got speaking to myself first because I thought about her and God just put her right here on the show.
you.
That's
Hmm.
that and we're live. So I didn't. This was maybe grandma did something like that. Our grandmother just passed away, and I just found it very eerie but comforting that Kayla would come on the show today after we mentioned grandma, and then me thinking about her. So thank you for joining, cuz I hope you come. We're here every morning at 7 a.m. Your uncle will also be joining us sometime here soon. He and I are gonna do something. So appreciate you. Just that touched me in a different way. But about the passage, back to the what we're reading on accounts receivable, says the quote is making a living by what we get. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Right? Make a life by what we give. You can only get as much as you are willing to give. You can only get by how much you are willing to give. It doesn't mean exactly how much you give, but are you willing? Do you have the heart to give? You can't receive anything being tight fisted. You can't receive anything like this. You must give and open your hands up in order for anything to come into your hand. And I think that same thing applies, not just physically, but applies spiritually. If you're tight fisted and you covet every single dollar, money will escape you. It will run away from you. Your intention isn't right. It's very hard, in my opinion, to receive things and be tight fisted. And if you are becoming wealthy from being stingy, if you are wealthy from being exploitative, if you are becoming wealthy from doing bad business, then know that that isn't God helping you. That's
Hmm.
God allowing you to persist in your evil so that you can be one day punished for it. Right? Because after a while, God will keep knocking on that door for you, saying, hey, this isn't right. Hey, look, here's an example that this isn't right. I'm guiding you to do otherwise. But if you persist in your evil and your misdeeds, God will make it easy for you to commit those same good deeds. I mean, those same evil deeds that you've been doing, not so that you would learn, but because you have turned your heart off to God, your eyes away from God, your ears away from Him purposefully. You have denied your own morality, and God has made it easy until an appointed time when you will die and you will be judged. So understand that there are two sides to this. Don't persist in evil on purpose, or you will one day, of course, recompense what your hands have done. So that's a little deep, but there are spiritual implications to charity. In my faith, it says that even a smile is charity. Even a smile is charity. When you walk and you see someone and you guys touch eyes, right? You guys link eyes. It feels awkward and it feels strange to not say anything, right? When you've made a connection with a human being. Or have you ever waved at somebody, or just given a good day, a good morning, and they've said nothing to you,
Mhm.
right? It might make you feel some kind of way, but don't worry, because at the same time, there might be angels that are saying hello to you, that are bragging about your patience, about you passing on peace, right? Like in my faith, we say assalamu alaikum, we say salams. That's spreading, the salams are spreading peace just by saying hey, just by giving a smile. That's charity. It's not always, giving the shirt off your back, but sometimes it is. How willing are you to give of what you have, right? And that is the amount for which you could receive. That's the potential for which you could receive. And remember, God multiplies. God multiplies. So don't be stingy today, guys. Some of the things I liked in this passage, it says, "Life owes you nothing, but you are eternally in debt to life." And it says, for starters, you're alive, an expression of the one source or God. The fact that you have another breath means you have another chance, another opportunity to live and make a difference, not just in your life, but in the people around you, right? The believer is not the one who can go to bed with his stomach full while his neighbor
Mhm.
is hungry. That's not the believer. Okay. So
His
if you,
brother. Sometimes it's just not the neighbor, which sometimes your brother, y'all.
yeah,
But I don't mean to interrupt you, Brandon, but when you talk about the smile, y'all, people will. We were talking about this at the community Bible study, the senior community Bible study that I spoke at about a week or so ago. How you walk past someone now and smile, it's like you've committed a crime. Call the police. Why are you smiling at me? People won't. They're not available enough. They're in such turmoil with themselves that you saying good morning, good morning. Now there are some. There are some. When I'm out and about and working in the field, a few weeks ago, this lady came in with the big smile. She spoke to me before I could speak to her, and I didn't even try to get her signed up. I just thanked her for her energy, her smile, right? So this is still going to be about us, you guys. Nobody owes you anything. It says there is no reason for anyone to sit back and complain that the world has deprived him of his due. As long as we acknowledge the one source behind the universe and realize that within it rests all possibility, the possibility of all good things, then we understand that everything, it didn't say something, one thing, it says everything. Come on, Miss Brenda, good everything, everybody, she says every morning, has already been given to you. You're unavailable. You're unavailable to receive it all. And if you can't receive, if that business does not get what those debtors owe the business is gonna run out of business. So if you are unavailable to get paid, like that's like going to work, having direct deposit, and signing up for direct deposit with an unopened account. Where is the money gonna go? Right? So y'all think about this. Think about your beliefs, your words, your actions. But more than anything, y'all, it breaks my heart often if I pass someone and I see, especially homeless people. Now I'm led by the Spirit as to how, what, and when I do. But if I'm not led to give, you know what I do? I pray. Because God knows. God knows exactly. He knows them. His hands are still on them. He knows what they need, what they're available to receive, what they don't need. And I wonder how many people will pass someone and not think about giving them something, helping them, but not even be available to just pray for them. Just pray. I remember doing the homeless ministry, and this It was cold, it was raining. I shared this story before, and this young man came up almost at the end. We were packing up, and he needed a coat.
Mm-hmm.
Needed a coat. I did not have any more coats. And I said, son, I don't have any more. I've given them all out. And I went home to my nice, warm house and got in my nice, warm bed. And I thought about that young man all night. I could not sleep because I should have gone to a Walmart or something. I should have did something, but I didn't. And so I said I would never let that moment pass me up again. Right? So you guys, who are you? Who are you? This says daily motivations for African American success. Let white folks go, meaning stop blaming white people. At the end of the day, they only owe you a part of themselves. And if they don't have themselves together, right, they only owe you justice in the way that they act now. So let's not even put all white people in a box. I'm reminded of the Free Angela documentary that hopefully we're going to be doing here soon. There were more white people trying to free Angela than it was black, putting up money, their houses and things like that. So when we start with our very own character, building, it says the fortunes of race, the fortunes, right? We all have to speak up for injustice, no matter what it looks like. Character, the way that we describe character in the life language, Bluff City Leadership, you guys, go take the assessment. I did some work on that last night, going through my certification. Such a blessing because I learned so much more than and I'm so ready. I'm in a different spirit. I'm going for this because you guys, we need to know not just who we are, but how we're wired. We need to understand ourselves so that we can give of ourselves. Understand who you are so that you can control who you are, control who you want to be, have some kind of foundation so that you could, this is coming from the life language, so that you could give people the best version of yourself. Some of y'all around here trying to give people a mixed drink, and I'm just going to use it. This is my cookie analogies. A drink, a mixed drink, and you ain't even got no alcohol. You're trying to feed them and you don't have food or a plate, right? So work on you, your character. How do you show up and show up not just for yourself, but for other people as well? So character is described, and Brandon, I don't know if you remember this, as the internal regulator that allows you to do the right thing, regardless of the consequences or the potential of you gaining. So Dr. Kendall says there's never a right time or a right way to do the wrong thing. There's never a time. And this is getting so deep for me, y'all would think I'm crazy because sometimes I do too. Like if I use the public bathroom, I'm very particular. I want it just like, sometimes even better. I can't even walk away because I think about the person who cleans the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't. If I drop tissue, I'm picking it up. And this is somebody
Mm-hmm.
who didn't even used to want to use a public bathroom. I would go home to use it. Right? So I think about the people behind me. Right? So my character is consistently building. So when I give, I'm not giving from a place of lack, but my cup runneth over and my saucer too. How dare I not pour into somebody else? But you can't pour what you don't have. Over to you, Brandon. I'll close there.
Thank you, Mom. I really appreciate that, and those are some good words. I'm reminded that a different side of charity. Purify your intention when you give as well. Don't give and expect something in return. You waste your charity in that way. It's impure in that way. Also, if you give someone something, don't follow it up and annul your generosity with reminders of your generosity. or hurtful words. Those are people that just donate their wealth to show off and to be seen by men and women, right? What's the orientation of your giving? Is it an expectation, of some type of gain? Or are you giving from a place just to be a blessing, just to be a helping hand, right? To someone in need, right? To supply a need like a need was supplied for you. Because you have to, there's no person in this world that has obtained or gained anything by themselves. No. There's a song that used to be around in Memphis. It says nobody needs nobody. Nobody needs nobody. We all need somebody. And we are all somebody to somebody. So be the somebody you need to be in character, in charity, in giving. And when you do give, do it with a pure heart. Do it with the right intention, right? And don't follow it up with reminders of your giving. Oh, you remember that time I gave all that? You was down and out, and I gave you all that money, man. I paid your rent. I ain't even asked for a due did it. Nope, I sure did it, man. So yeah, no, that's not how you do it, right? If you give, give, and and have secrets. This is the last thing I'm gonna in with this. There's an intimacy that you can have with God when you build a personal relationship with him. And now what does that even look like? A lot of people say that. When you have a personal relationship, try to befriend God.
Ooh, ooh.
How to try to befriend him by gaining God's pleasure. Not just being obedient. There's levels to faith. Not just being not there are the people who obey God because they fear his wrath. They fear judgment, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are like, I'm gonna knock the fear of the Lord, and they'll say things like that, right? But there's people that obey God because they fear his wrath. There are people that obey God because they believe it is, the right thing to do, and that's just what they're supposed to do, right? And there are people that obey God because it's the right thing, but they also excel in extra things to try to seek God's pleasure. There are people that obey God, because they think it's the right thing, and they think that they're going to get something to gain from it. That's what I want to say. There's people who obey God because of they fear his wrath. There's people who obey God because they want to receive the bounty from God for doing whatever covenant that they have with God and being obedient to him. So they might say, well, I want to get into heaven. I want to be blessed. I want to receive this. I want to receive that. I want to make sure that I'm protected and I stay safe. So if I do good, then maybe God will protect me or give me some form of benefit for my actions, right? And then there are the people that just obey God, and they even excel in things that are beyond their obligatory things, right? They go beyond just the 10 commandments, and they say, I am literally doing what I think pleases God, not just being obedient, like to your parents. Yeah, you do what your parents say. You respect them, you honor them. But that little gift that you might send every now and then to just check up on them and say, I was just thinking about you, right? That little call to say, hey, how's your day going? Those are the things that really please your parent. You know what I mean? And same thing with God. Do some things to where you can gain this intimacy with God, and the only people that know are you and God. Give
Amen.
charity, and nobody knows about it but God. Give so often to where your left hand doesn't know what the right has given. Right? Give it in a way to where even your left hand doesn't realize what your right hand is given, because you did it so discreetly. It is between only you and God. Don't
Amen.
tell your wife, your husband. you anything like that. Sometimes wake up in the middle of the night while everybody is sleeping and go worship God. I don't mean just sit there and think about it. I mean get on your knees, bow your head, and worship God when no one is around
Mm.
for his pleasure alone, not to receive heaven. If he gives it to you, all praise be to God. Hallelujah. Alhamdulillah. If and not just to evade his wrath or his or his judgment, but try doing things just for the pleasure of God and try to become in Arabic they call it Khalil Allah, right? Or the friend of God. They said that Abraham was a friend of God, right? Abraham was a friend of God. How can you gain that status? May God allow us all to gain that type of status and elevate us in rank and put us on his right side. You know what I mean? So give from that place. Blessed to be a blessing, mommy said. This comes from Genesis 12 when God tells Abraham that he will be blessed so
I
that he can
just
be a
typed
blessing.
it up.
This is the beginning of a bigger blessing that will be to all humanity.
Humanity. I just typed it up to put it out there to end with.
And uh,
Y'all, y'all better get on with us. I'm telling you, it's not us. It is not us. But I'm telling you what Brandon just told y'all, I have such a good time with God. I was dancing around here 2 or 3 mornings ago, you know, in my praise and worship, which I'm in it a lot. But have you ever just experienced? Have you had a moment alone, right? And I'm just telling y'all, like I don't even have to tell anybody. Who do I need to tell? Right? Because you will see it. You will see if you have the fruits of the spirit, then you got the root, right?
mm,
You are rooted. So
mm,
take a look at your limbs. What's hanging from your tree, y'all? What's hanging? What's hanging? Are you a peach seed with some strawberries hanging? Right? No. What did God plant
mm.
in you? And what are you growing? Does it match? Does it match? I see people, Brandon, woke something up. I got to get out of here. I see it's just, maybe it's a me thing, y'all. I need y'all to put these cameras down when people are praising and worshiping God and you do the same. Like when the Holy Spirit comes upon a place, how does one who knows this same Holy Spirit not rejoice? I don't even know how you're able to hold a camera up in the presence of the Holy Spirit, right? So it's just so much I don't understand. I'm a little kooky and a little different. I'm an old soul. I just accept it now. I am an old soul. I long for prayer shut in, all night shut in, altar calls. I long for a church who still does that, right? I had trouble finding a church that did early morning prayer. I had a friend and I who were craving it, desiring it. We called and we called and we called. Morning prayer, 6 a.m. prayer. Who do that? Where they do that at? That's the kind of responses we were getting. Not in those words, but we did finally find one. Big church, right? Big church. I'll say it. It was New Direction. Thank God. Because New Direction's like, oh yeah, we have 6 a.m. prayer. So a friend and I, we were able to go for 1 full year. Brandon, we've talked about that here. You remember that?
I remember.
And y'all, the best year of my life. I'm not telling you, the spirit realm is a whole nother world that we don't talk about. I had more money. I promise you, I would sit and I would balance out my checkbook, and I'm like, okay, I didn't pay something because I got a whole lot more money left, right? I was able to save more money than I ever had. I bought my house during that time. Well, I prepared for it because I would get up early, get things going, wake Brandon up, go pray, come back so I could get him, drop him off to school. I would have more time in the day. My friend, God was directing me, but I was seeking the direction. I was seeking Him. And
Mm-hmm.
many days I would go in that church and say nothing. I would just kneel down before for 1 hour every morning for a year. And then it came to an end because this big mega church only had 4 people and 2 of them was not a member. So why would they keep it open? Right? The
Mm-hmm.
2 that were there, one needed to be their man to open up the church. Another lady, myself, and my friend Melissa. So they eventually said, we cannot do this anymore. There's just not enough people. And my understanding, where there's 2 or more gathered, there, right? And not that he's not there with one, but you give me 2 people trying to move a big piece of furniture. That's better than one. So I'm longing for pastors, if you're out there listening to this, all night shut in, early morning prayer, noon prayer, stay in church to 3, 4 o'clock. And I used to be in church mad about that. But here I am now longing for it.
Hey, mama.
Longing for it. Yeah, what?
I don't mean to mess with you. Yeah, I don't mean to mess with you. I don't mean to mess with you. But any mosque in the world at sun before sunrise, there's a prayer service. At noon, there's a prayer service. About 4 o'clock, like you said, there's a prayer service. At sunset, there's a prayer service. And at night, 9:45, 10 o'clock,
I keep
there's a prayer
telling you.
service.
Y'all gonna mess around. Brandon's mama gonna be going to the same church he go to. The building. Y'all, there's so much about, I'm telling you, if
It's
you
the
ever
same.
want, y'all, there's such a I want to get into that. We'll get into that another day. I'm telling you, I learned more about Jesus. I can't tell you enough, going to the mosque and journaling through the scripture with people of all walks from faith, and people just like me were just in awe about what we thought it was. Because most times what you think you know is based on who you are and what someone has told you. I think about the movie Shack and the book Shack, The Shack, how people ridiculed this man and were out petitioning, don't produce this movie and blah, blah, blah. Spiritual, no, religious people, not spiritual people. And guess what? Some of these fools, and I'm gonna call it just like it is, because I'm over it, y'all. I don't care what you think about me, who you think I am, because I know who I am, and what you think about me ain't gonna send me to heaven or hell, right? So these fools out here fighting something that they've not even read.
Mm-hmm.
The author came out, and this man wrote this book, and it became a movie because he had nothing to give his children for Christmas. He had no money, so he said, I will write them a book and give it to them, right? And it's about God, about how God shows up as a mother, as a father, whatever you need in your life, he shows up as that. And you got fools out saying, don't do this, but had never, I wouldn't call you a fool if you at least had read the book in order
Right.
to form an opinion,
Right. And
right? So,
about reading. For example, there might be people who only follow the old, like only read the Old Testament, will never even look into the New Testament, right? And there are people in the that'll read the whole Bible but never read, so let's say, the Quran, that comes from the same source, right? But just because they didn't include it doesn't mean that it didn't come from the same source. So it's like, what validates something for you? Is it a person or a specific people have to validate it in order for you to believe that it comes from God? And do you take the opinions of people without it in secondary sources without reading it yourself? There are so many people, I cannot tell you, especially older people, that are so afraid to read the Quran because of what they've heard on the news, or for some person that probably hate them the same way that they hate, Muslims. And what if you think about it, if you look through time, was how was Jesus looked at the same way? Jesus was looked at as a radical. Moses was looked at as a radical, y'all. Abraham was looked at as, oh, what is this? Why is it that every time that something good comes to a people, they say this is a radical thought, and they refuse to even look at it? So if you have any opinions on Islam and you've never read the Quran, if you have any Muslims, if you have any opinion on Christians or on Christianity and you've never read the Bible, the same applies. All right?
Brandon,
Don't
that's
be
the thing that I
don't
said.
be ignorant and have an opinion.
Right, right. Don't know. Don't have an understanding, right? How do you have an opinion and you don't have an understanding? You don't have an understanding if you've not dug into it. And that's the one thing I found admirable is that Muslims read the Bible. They will read the Bible. They're not afraid that it will scar
Because
or
we're not
be a
insecure in our
right,
faith
right. And they know the word. They know your word and their word.
by heart.
Yes. And so I'm like, whoa. And I'll get off of here because I got to. In the journaling through the scripture, there is mention of Jesus talking from the cradle as a baby.
In
There
the
is mention
Quran.
of him talking in the Quran. Right? I'm like, what? This ain't in my Bible. Yo, I gotta go. Brandon, let me read some of these comments and then
Okay.
we need to have a day that we talk about that, just that, right? So
Okay.
let me go through here and catch up because I've not been doing good with this, you guys coming back, making sure I get your words out there, your comments. Um, so Miss Brenda says, my deepest condolences to you, Brandon, for the loss of your grandmother. You're in my prayers. Uh, thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Miss
that,
Brenda.
Miss
I
Brenda.
love you. Thank you.
Auntie Richetta says, good morning, lovely butterfly. She's getting good with this her little thing, how she be making her post out here. Lovely butterfly and nephew, and she gives hearts.
Love you, love you, love you, Auntie Cheddar. Yeah, she always been spicy and
Yeah,
a bunch of
yeah,
or floral and her I like a cheetah print. Boy, anytime I see
yeah.
cheetah
Got
print, I
her
always think
hats
of Auntie
on,
Cheddar.
man. Don't y'all mess with Cheddar. Chat, chat. So Big Mike, my brother says, Brandon, we miss you, my man. So Brandon's been gone for a few days. He says,
Man,
welcome
too long.
back.
Thank you.
Um,
Still got to do lunch, man. Let's get together. I love you.
my classmate Matthew Holloway, how it is, what it do, what it do. Great words spoken. He says, and I think that's your little something's there. I don't know what that is. And he says, absolutely. So true, Auntie Cheddar says, and amen. Matt Holloway says, knowing is half the battle. And he says, exactly again. So let's see. I think that's it, you guys. Thank you all for rocking with us. Share this, um, share this video, share in this season podcast with someone. Tell them if you've not gone out to the YouTube to subscribe, please do so you're notified when we do what we do and in the event Facebook, because they do what they do, and sometimes we can't do what we need to do, right? But we find a way. So if you're never on, if we're not on Instagram at 7 o'clock or Facebook at 7 o'clock, you'll be able to go to YouTube. YouTube doesn't trip that much, so seems like we have at least the ability to do what we want to do and need to do, and what we ought to do, we should do, and what we should do, we ought to do, right? Right? So we ought to get off of here, Brandon. Over to you.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for attending today. To my cousin Kayla, to my friend Kayla, who just said that her service at her job is bad, but she keeps coming back in. So if it kicks her out, she comes right back in. Kicks her out, she comes right
Who's
back
that,
in.
Caleb?
Kayla, yeah, she's her and her husband are doing some graphic design work for some shirts for our fight team and for me and different fighters. And so she came through. We actually had lunch last week, and she showed me some of her designs and stuff. So thank you to who came in there. Dustin Berry MMA, thank you for coming. And Ella, who is a young lady, a part of the Mahmoud family, who is actually in Gaza right now. So their home was bombed,
Mm.
and they've been moved, and then that place was bombed, and they've been moved again. They have elderly people, a special needs person, and now they're living in tents. And then where they were, the tents were bombed. So they just keep moving these people further and further, and then bombing them. So, but she has there's a speaking about giving, they have a they have a not a GoFundMe, yeah, kind of like a GoFundMe thing where it's to help their family get across the border, but it costs a lot of money, and many people don't have it. So the Zionists are trying to ethnically cleanse all of the Gaza Strip of all the Palestinian people so that they can make more real estate there, and do their beachfront houses. It's illegal according to international law, but these people are being ethnically cleansed away from their homeland that they've been at for 10,000 years. So I can share that with you, Mom, if anybody wants to give to
Please do.
that.
And I'll
Uh,
drop it in the
a
link.
little bit goes a long way. But please help somebody. Don't let it come to Judgment Day and you have had the access and the ability to help people that have been in need and you given nothing, even if it's $1, even if it's whatever you can. But don't let Judgment Day come and you have seen the plight of the world. You've seen the wars that our tax dollars have funded, right? And the people that suffer from and suffer for the just the fact that we can benefit and take all of these privileges, and you gave nothing. You did nothing. You didn't even pray for them. And so if you can't give, at least say a prayer for this young
Amen.
woman, her people, and the family. But don't let this opportunity pass you and you be tight-fisted and hard-hearted, because that will come back to you. I promise you it will. And you will see me, and I will be a witness against you on Judgment Day and say that, yes, I told them. I told them. So take heed. All right. But that's all I have for y'all today. I will share that with you, Mom. You can share that out there if you would like to.
Okay.
But let's wrap this up on this July 8th. Accounts Receivable is the title. And the quote was, "We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give." And that's Barbara Harris, the first African American female Protestant Episcopal bishop. And after a brief passage, we came to the affirmation that says, "The world owes me nothing. I'm in debt to life." Second time, "The world owes me nothing. I am in debt to life." And last time, so it really settles in our consciousness, the world owes me nothing. I am in debt to life.
Pay
Thank
that
you.
bill. Pay that bill, y'all. Pay
Pay,
that bill.
pay that spiritual bill. All
Pay
right.
that
Love y'all.
spiritual bill.
We will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Please go to the YouTube. Please go to the YouTube and like and subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you get them on YouTube just like you do on Facebook Live or Instagram Live. We appreciate you, and we will see you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central Time, on the 160th day of the In the Season podcast.
YouTube, the letter N, this season. So the letter N and then this season up at the
Right.
top there.
Yep. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Peace.